I tried to be supportive for Lily, I really did, but I wanted to kill myself.
Most conservative fears about gay marriage leading to societal collapse has come true. People are identifying as animals. Polyamory is everywhere. Trust me, I would know. I'm on like every dating app. Kids are being transed and more. And if you asked me about this just even 10 years ago, I would say there's no way, and I would be fairly confident in saying so. Let's get into this, because I actually think some of my opinions on these issues will surprise you. You gotta have a little bit of nuance, right? You can't just be left or right with everything. So some conservatives' opposition to same-sex marriage is threefold, right? Ideological, religious, and cultural. Gay couples just want to be like us. The LGBT movement will only become more radical. 2015, same-sex marriage was legalized in the United States. In 2016, New York City legally recognized 31 genders. In 2018, leftists and feminists came hard for gender roles and ignoring gender completely and saying gender is just a made-up thing. 2020, activists began denying biological sex and reality. It kind of has been a slippery slope a little bit, hasn't it? The left will say that this is a woman.
Wanna know how to make a trans puppy happy? Give him a bunch of intramuscular injection supplies. Yay!
And let's get one thing clear, this ideology hurts both gay people and straight people alike. I've said it hundreds of times in a lot of my videos. If you cannot define something, how do you protect it? If we can't define what a woman is, how do we protect women and women's rights? People on the right tend to argue that this is a major cultural and societal shift, that it represents a broader shift away from traditional values, and many see it as a trend toward a more permissive and a less structured society, which they would argue is weakening society as a whole. Here's my take. Many gays do just want to live a normal life, myself included, either married, with or without kids. Coming for gender, sex, and science was probably like not in the majority of gays' playbook. It certainly was not in mine. This is all queer activism. This is not us. We are not the same. It's just two people getting married. Gay marriage is a slippery slope towards polyamory. Traditional marriage. Many conservatives, not all of them of course, want to preserve the idea of marriage being between a man and a woman. From what I understand, mainly because it's culturally linked to procreation and family stability, which is considered to be morally good by, I guess, a good amount of people. And for years, the gays, rightfully so, right? We're like, listen, we just want to have a family, we want to raise kids, we want to be left alone, have equal rights. And for a while, we did. Some still do. But very quickly, in a span of less than 10 years, because 2015 was when gay marriage was legalized, right? It has turned into this.
This is Ari, Gwendolyn, and Brinifer. They are in a polyamorous relationship, and they all parent Hazel and Sparrow.
We have a 2-year-old anti-gender baby.
8 reasons to open your queer relationship. And listen, some laws are changing to accommodate these people. Polyamorous relationships granted rights in Massachusetts City. And of course, don't get me wrong, some straight people do this shit too. I feel like the gays were always the most open about this, pun intended. Also, I can't help but notice that most AGPs are polyamorous. Standard male behavior, I guess, like not wanting to be committed, wanting to be slutty. Not all guys, I know, hashtag not all men. But you can't help but notice that this is a thing.
I'm a lesbian. I have 4 girlfriends. I own my own home, so no, I'm not jealous.
And why do they always look like this? Tell me where the lie is. My take. For me, I don't care if somebody's polyamorous. I have friends that are polyamorous or in poly relationships or whatever. But does that mean that they should be counted legally as a marriage? In the same way that 2 people raising a family, should it count as more dependents when it comes to taxes and tax write-offs? In my opinion, no. Yes, indeed, this is a new year with the same bullshit from the left. But not the same shit with me, let's be real. I've gained a few pounds over the last 2-3 years. I am in my upper 30s. A bitch is up there, but I will not allow myself to get any further, and that's the difference between somebody like myself and these types. I've tried changing my diet. I've tried the, like only eating from 7 to 7, and it all helped, but not to the extent that I needed it to. And with all the conflicting information out there, why shouldn't we be turning inside to get the actual answers? And that's actually what today's sponsor, Lumen, does. Lumen is the first ever handheld metabolic coach. You breathe into this and it measures your metabolism and it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs. It also gives you individualized guidance to improving your nutrition, your workouts, even your sleep habits. This is how you get to know the actual root causes of your weight loss issues and see results. Lumen lets you know what's happening in your body at real time and builds you a personalized health plan based on your real-time data. In less than 30 seconds, first thing in the morning, Lumen lets me know whether I'm burning carbs or fat for fuel. I'm currently working with them for the next few weeks to few months because I do believe that this is going to dramatically help me. And of course, I'm going to update you guys every week for the next few weeks. To get 20% off and start your new year off the right way, no pun intended or pun intended, go to lumen.me/Ariel and start improving your health today. They will come for your kids. No, they're not going to indoctrinate your children. How many videos have we covered in regards to teachers and people in power teaching kids about sex and gender identity and transgenderism, and how if you're a boy who likes pink, you might be trans or non-binary or gender Or what about the kids that we've seen over and over sexually dancing at adult drag shows? And no, in my opinion, this is not the same thing as little boys or little girls dressing up. Here's my take. Teach kids about the different types of families. Some families have 2 dads, some families have 1 dad, some families have 2 moms. Do not teach them about gender identity and sex. And don't you dare say that kids can consent, because that is just a slippery slope of the worst kind. What about the kids of gay parents? Actually, 2 same-sex parents are better than none. The impact on children and society. Some conservatives will claim that children raised in same-sex households might be disadvantaged compared to kids raised in an opposite sex household with a mom and a dad. Let's go to the studies so nobody can argue. Effects on the children and family members of LGBT individuals. The U.S. Census Bureau estimates that there are about 300,000 U.S. children being raised by same-sex couples. Key findings. When states legalized marriage for same-sex couples, the physical health of the LGBT individuals in those states improved. HIV and AIDS fell significantly. Sexual orientation motivated crimes and employment discrimination against LGBT individuals declined. All good things. Children of same-sex couples benefited when their parents were granted access to legal marriage. And state-level adoption rates rose after marriage became legal for same-sex couples. Numerous reviews of this extensive literature by such organizations as the American Psychological Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the American Sociological Association have all reached the same conclusion. On a vast array of outcomes, children of same-sex couples fare just as well as children of different sex couples. Some conservatives are worried that the children will turn gay because they have gay parents. This statistically has not been true. It's also not been true in my life and people that I know that have same-sex parents. 99% of the time, they're straight. Here's my take. Gay marriage should be illegal. Gay adoption should be legal, and the same exact process to determine if these parents are acceptable should be followed throughout. Gay parents don't make kids gay or trans, although queer parents, on the other hand, there's a little bit of nuance here. Because funnily enough, it is usually the white suburban, middle-class moms and dads that are straight that are having all these trans and queer kids who are actually not LGBT. Actually, this doesn't personally affect you. Actually, now it does. Religious freedoms. Some conservatives also argue that legalizing same-sex marriage could lead to the infringement of religious freedoms. They're worried that they might be compelled or legally forced to recognize same-sex marriages. I don't think that this is true, at least at the moment. If it does become true, I would argue against it because the states' rights, which is another thing that conservatives are worried about. There should be a separation between church and state, your beliefs and somebody's rights. If you don't believe in something, you should not be legally forced or persuaded to partake in it. As far as government goes, though, I believe that everybody should be treated equal. And again, that's the separation between church and state. People are not gonna start identifying as animals or any other crazy things. Bestiality or people identifying as animals. Yeah, this is something that is happening, whether you want to believe it or not. Kids are identifying as cats. Parents have talked about their kids being around other kids in schools that are using litter boxes in the bathroom. Adults are identifying as pigs and cows. My guess is mental illness, narcissistic personality disorder, and wanting to find a way to get out of self and social responsibility, which leads to another conservative talking point, the fear of societal collapse. There is a belief among some conservatives that the acceptance of same-sex marriage signals a broader decline in society. They argue that it represents a departure from what they view as the moral order established by God and nature, and to that I will say, and this is my take, stop allowing people to identify as anything other than human. But moral order established by God is not a separation between church and state, but I do like the order of nature saying, though. I feel like that's a good way to head. Like, let's believe in science. Let's believe in reality. And even though I am a highly spiritual person, I don't think we should bring God into this. But as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that these conservative talking points have come to fruition, or do you think they are just all crazy and none of this is going to last and it's just going to be for the next 1 or 2 years and it's going to collapse? Special thanks again to our sponsor, Lumen. Make sure you go and check them out and support companies that support our morals and this channel. And as always, I will see you guys back here in a few days next Sunday with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Love yourselves. Keep calling out the bullshit. Bye.